From the get-go of this video, I'll note that I have a cold, so if I sound a little bit off, that's basically why. It's also the reason I didn't do a video last night, because I went to bed early. I'll note that a couple of people basically thrown their hat into the ring, one being Jeremiah, another person being Brainable here. Their games have been added to the list, so I finally get to roll more than 3. Now I get to roll 4. We still get 2 though, so Vita Ex Machina by Aviv is next. So Aviv is basically responsible for Arcanus Heritage and Acolyte's Pledge over here. These are 24 and 2023 70-year-olds respectively. And does he have any other games here that are 70-year-olds? That at least I recognize. He has quite a few games at least, to say the least. I kind of wish there would be like, you know, a number of, entries, but whatever. So there's a Game Jam game, and there's basically one for 70-year-old 2022, so he's had at least, 3 70-year-olds. Probably messed up with Garden there a little bit, oh well. There's one for 2021, Cartomancer. There's Station Salvage for 2020. And we already saw that one and that one. So there is all the games by Aviv. So he has quite a few entries for Cinderellas. So I definitely expect good work from this guy right here. This is a download only, so we'll hit the download for Windows. I think I'm on a 64-bit platform. See if this works. Yep, looks like it works. So let's read on. So first things first, is there anyone besides Aviv involved in this project? No, it's just him. So just one offer. Vita Ex Machina. The game was originally made for Roguetemple's Fortnight event. Disclaimer, this game is currently untested and incomplete, but is published to demonstrate the game design and vision. In Vita Ex Machina, you play as hunter-gatherer in a post-apocalyptic land where dangerous and powerful machines have taken over the world, and it's your job to hunt them down. Take your bow and trusted spear and head out into the wilds, take down machines and collect their scrap components so your tribe can grow and flourish. But be careful, one wrong step and it'll be you who's taken for scrap. Vita Ex Machina is a traditional turn-based roguelike with a focus on tactical movement and careful resource management. Notable mechanics, you only have 1 HP. Compared to machines, you are a puny human, and you can't handle their power, so be careful. Large machines are easier to take out when all their components are hit, rather than wailing on a single point of impact. You can collect wood from sticky shrubs and shards from machines you destroy to craft additional arrows for your bow. You can manage your movement in a variety of ways by walking, running, sneaking, and rolling, but be careful. These will consume different amounts of stamina as while attacking. Currently there's no win condition and nothing else to do with your resources. Move is controlled with the WASD QEZC. So, again, we basically have one of these things where, X is not the down arrow, you have S as a down arrow. And arrow keys. I'll have to test these like, numpad's basically used there, but whatever. Comment roll, X, when you pick your position with movement keys, wait, spacebar, so at least he has a spacebar, like, as a wait, as opposed to, like, X. Oh wait, X is your combat roll. Again, this is like one of those things where, like, it's probably going to be an issue, but we'll see. Fire your bow if you have arrows, press F. Harvest wood with shrubs with V. Open inventory with R. Interesting, why not I? Craft menu with press T. Change movement type, press tab to cycle between. Alright, so we see ASCII here, so we're going to be inspecting something with ASCII. We've got screenshots here, so, very simple. Alright, let's get to it then, shall we? Is there anything important? No, this is created from like playing the game, I think. Well, there's like a full screen option here, so to speak, so that's fine. Press space to begin. Health 1 of 1. Hurrah. Stamina 5 of 5. Move mode, walk, run, or sneak. Now, is there like a help button in the game, I wonder? Or have you got that sort of thing? There's no help basically of like note here. There is like the ability to sort of like, use your thing here to sort of like look around. Alright, so this is a shrub, I think it was, so press V when top of shrub. Press R for my inventory, so there's my bow, it's equipped. We've got wood, we've got 12 arrows, 1 food. I kind of feel by way of like, it's just like small, you probably just have this like on at all times anyways. Number, select, enter, space, confirm. Escape or backspace to exit. By the way, numpad does work, by the way, so you're not like, stuck basically using the WAS DEC over here if you don't want to. I don't see anything about trees, so now, I wonder if the machines are hostile to me or if they'll basically just like leave me alone. Okay, I got 3 wood now. T is my crafting, so tinker, I can make an arrow. I got no shards left. Okay, I think I need to get some like, shards from like the enemies before I like can do anything with it, right? So, all right. By the way, note that the trees like, are sight lines. All right, so note basically something note here is that like, for those who don't realize what's going on, I can't move diagonally around like trees like this. I actually have to move like, crown directions until I get by them. That's a thing. Now I wonder how close you have to be to fire your bow and stuff like that. So press F. This close apparently. Did I hit him? Yes, target. Move cursor to selected target. That's basically what it says down here. You don't click or anything, so... Okay, enter basically fires it for sure, I think. Did I get anything from that, I wonder? I mean, I killed the machine, but was it worth it? I died. Press enter to try again. Okay, something went wrong there. Like, it's stuck on me, by the way, but it's not like, you know... I'm just going to stop using, like, the mouse and just, like, you know, manually do it then. Those are shards. Okay, that seems to work. I think I made something there. Not entirely sure. You know, I sort of feel by the way if, like, you know, you see a machine and are, like, always in square shapes like this, they should just be, like, you know, you can visibly, like, see them. And, like, maybe, like, the other parts are, like, shrouded instead. Like, just not being visible. Okay, I've got 2 wood and 2 shards, so... Okay, so yeah, basically I am making, like, you know, arrows from, like, the, you know, wood in the shards. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot here, by the way, so... It's just like the basic mechanics of, like, you know, you can wander around, you can hunt the machines, and, like, you know... That's basically it, but I'm not really collecting anything, right? So... A little bit lacking. I have a trusty spear, apparently. Does that mean I can, like, you know, melee the machines? That M is fast, apparently. Interesting. I'll note that I tried to aim at the back one, but you can't hit it because, you know, you have to hit the stuff in front. Can I fire with no stamina? I don't think I can. Cool, it's dead. Yeah, I don't seem to have, like, any spear of like, you know, of use here, by the way, so... I can't seem to melee these guys. I have no arrows to use at this point, so we can't actually fight this guy. That's something to keep in mind, by the way. It doesn't seem like there's enough ammo for me to basically fight these guys, because, you know, we don't get enough basically from it. Like enough shards. And that could be because like you're expected to use a spear, but there is no spear, so... Four arrows. Alright, so there's run, sneak, and, you know, all sort of stuff. Blah, blah, blah. You didn't actually indicate how... Oh, okay, press tab. Okay, let's try pressing tab then. So that's like, you know, good for running away. The wrong thing there. With these like really small machines, I wonder if I'm actually hitting them or not. I don't seem to have like any value, so there's that too. I wonder if the machines can leave the map, by the way, or if they're basically stuck on this map. Just going to wander around the game mode here at this point. You know, I wonder like in the case of like, you know, the trusty spear, I have to actually craft it or not. I'm not really seeing anything on the game map though of note, so we'll just start the game in a moment. I'm guessing though that the spear isn't implemented, but I'll thoroughly test it out. Let's just wander around. We're just going to get some shrubs here harvested. Just ignore the machines for now. I'm noticing by the way there's only a few types of machines, like, you know, small, big, and then like, you know, huge. I kind of feel you could have more machines, like say you could have like, you know, drones, walkers, you know, vehicles, whatever. And they could all be doing like different things. They also appear to be non-hostile, these like, you know, things, so maybe we could have like, you know, like machines that do different things, like, you know, hunters that try and hunt you, scavengers to basically just like, you know, cut down trees. Like they're very lifeless, so to speak, right now. You've got the concept, you've got like the basic, like, you know, sort of blueprints, but not much else besides that. I wonder if these guys can run you over. That's like their means of attacking you. Walk this way a little bit. Lucky. If these guys can't hurt me by being like in melee, it's a good thing they didn't there. And that could be another thing, by the way. You could have like different like machines that also have like different sort of like armor types and stuff like that. So a tank could have like more armor than like say like a walker or like a scavenging bot idea. Alright, this is perfect. There's a couple of these like 4-1s, so I want to basically try fighting. I found like the one tile ones don't seem to drop anything, so I'm wondering if like the 4 tiles will drop anything or not. I'll note, by the way, it seems a little bit laggy, by the way, moving around. Like, it's not very responsive. Alright, so far I've got 20 wood. And I've only got the ability to tinker arrows, so... What I want to do now is just, like, use up all my arrows to see if, like, if shards basically, get me anything. Okay, get one of this. So where possible, it's probably a good idea to sort of go after the bigger boss than like these guys here. Alright, no more arrows. Just like some shards. Oh, you get different amounts of shards basically per like, rope you kill. That's good to know. But I can still only make like, arrows here, so... Seven arrows. How'd I die? Did something walk on me? I mean, I have no explanation for why I died there, so... You can die, apparently, just I have no idea how. Yeah, so these guys can walk on you, and that's basically how like, you can die. But that's just very random, so whatever. I'll note that the lack of stamina is kind of noticeable. Also, this guy walked off the screen here, so... There might be, like, an idea, like, if stuff walks off enough the screen, you basically, like, lose sight of him basically completely. At least this guy dropped enough shards. I basically, like, got all my, like, arrows back, I guess. So there's that. Oh, look at that. This guy's walked over a bush and I, got rid of it. Okay, I haven't used like the WAS keys. Let's just try using them a little bit here. So, yeah, I can roll. Forgot that X was used for roll. So roll's like your teleport, I guess. I wonder if, like, you can do it with like one stamina or something like that. So you can't do it if you have, like, a lack of stamina. I wonder if, like, that's functioning as its intent to the roll, because it seems like really like a waste of, like, stamina. I don't got any aerospace to fight this guy, so we'll leave him be until I craft some. I'll note another thing you could probably notice is, like, you could have different shapes for, like, the enemies here. Like, don't have all three squares. So that might be, like, a programming thing. Like, you only can do so much of your language, so whatever. Zero wood, that's fine. Oh, no stamina. And off the screen it goes. So you got one shard right now. 4, 6, 9. So you basically get a random amount of shards basically each time you see, like, take out these guys, I guess. I'm not sure what the purple background on this basically means, but whatever, it's there. It definitely feels very sluggish though, just to say the least. I can hunt that in a moment, but let's go get some more wood. By the way, I've noticed, like, in all my time playing, I haven't gotten hungry yet. Not that I really care about that, but, it makes me more of like the food like systems basically implemented or not. So it doesn't need to be, probably shouldn't be implemented, but, worth noting. 3 shards goes up to 5 shards. But I mean, yeah, we're gonna run out of like arrows very, really quickly here. So that's a thing. All right. Well, I think I basically played enough to sort of like demonstrate the game. We went 30 minutes or so. I think it deserves a little bit of like a rank at this point. So Vita X Machina. So what can I say about the completeness? It didn't feel completely complete, obviously. You're missing like, obviously like the end game, but like everything else. You basically like just had like sort of like tech demo here. I should probably just start over here a little bit first. So basically scope wise, this was definitely very incomplete. Honestly, this is where I have to say, like, this was insufficient. You basically had like a tech demo, not really enough, enough there. So I think that basically sums up scope basically well enough. I have to basically like, be honest here. You obviously put some effort in, but I mean, for like the scope, this is definitely like, insufficient for like, scope and all that. Was it Roguelike? Yes. Let's just get that out of the way. What do I want to basically say about innovative? See, the thing about innovation says like, it wasn't basically doing it for the norm. It's got like a neat idea, but that's basically all it has. Is like it's got that neat like sort of like veneer to it. I think I'll say like obviously some work went into the idea, so and that's really like the thing. You had a theme, you didn't have a whole lot of ideas, so I have to like, you know, hurt you with like innovative a little bit there as a result. Fun. Not enough here, to be honest. You know what? I think it'll be nice and say like you have like at least a free for innovative. Like the idea of like, you know, walking around scavenging stuff from machines is like a, you know, a general good idea. It doesn't implement like enough like, you know, mechanics to go with it as a thing, right? Aesthetics. Game seems sluggish. I think it's like the core takeaway is like it seems sluggish to move around, which is like a bit of an issue. I think for completeness, I'll probably give you like a 2. This is probably a 2. You need to have like those elements in order to get like your marks, so a little more than a tech demo. This could be a project that is worth playing. I mean, there's like the honest review of like the game, right? I mean, if I was basically compared just like to Cinderellas, this would be like a game that I would actually suggest would be like a failed entry because not enough basically went into like, you know, the game itself. You actually had something there, but I mean, it was definitely on the low end, so I honestly can't give like high marks for it as a result. And that results in you getting like a combined score of like, you know, 2, so definitely on the lower end as a result of that. Is there anything I really disagree with myself basically here? I mean, I could also say like, you know, something about like the line of sight, but that's like, you know, a little bit like, you know, nonsense really in my part to have mentioned, I think. Yeah, I guess that's good enough for, you know, a score. We'll give you a 2. So definitely on the lower end of like all their stuff here, but it's just how it goes. Sometimes someone gets like, you know, not as good at a game basically to show off for, you know, the play. All right, take care all.